Hey y'all, I have a question. So, anybody else with a chronic illness, not just lupus, just any of them, do you guys ever think back before you ever had your chronic illness, or like before you knew that you had it, or before it was bad, or whatever? Do you look back at stuff and think, maybe that was my chronic illness? And the reason I ask that is okay, so all my stuff started in 2020. I had never had an issue before. Never had any signs of having an autoimmune disorder. But in 2020, I started having like really bad arthritis type symptoms. You know, most of you that have been following me know my story. In 2021, I got my diagnosis. So 2020, 2021 was my first big like actual flare. But I look back at so much stuff now that I've researched lupus, and so much of it makes me question, like, was my lupus poking her head out years ago? Because I had a lot of issues. I had a lot of stomach issues as a child. I had multiple miscarriages, which I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So, I don't know. It could have been either one of those guys for my couple of miscarriages that I had. But I also wondered, like, I have a lot of issues with my teeth. And always have had a lot of issues with my teeth. That's probably connected to lupus. There's just so much stuff. I mean, even whenever I was a teenager, I would have these weird episodes of like running random fevers and stuff. I wonder now, looking back, was that my lupus? Like, has she always kind of been there, like popping the door open? You know, like I don't know how all that works, and it's different for everybody, so it's kind of hard to know for sure. But I don't know. There's just so much that I look back on, and I question: was that lupus trying to come out? And if it was, I mean, what really made it pop out when it did? And it's crazy to me because I spent a lot of my life in fight or flight, you know, in high stress situations. And as soon as I got out of that and I got into a healthy, good marriage and everything, my body was like, hey girl. So I don't know, but I do. I think back on a lot of stuff and I wonder, was that you, girl? Or no? Like, I don't know. So, I just wonder if anybody else thinks that. Like, do you try to go back and connect the dots of, could that have been that before? Because whenever I had my first big flare, it was bad. Like, I lost the vision in my eye. I had fluid around my heart, my lungs. I was in and out of hospitals. I ended up in a hospital 2 hours from home because my situation just continuously was getting worse and we could not figure out what was going on. So, I mean, obviously there was no denying it when that happened. But I just wonder, I just look back and I'm like, were all the random fevers and weird infections that I would have as a teenager, like, was that lupus? I don't know. But I was just curious if anybody else tries to connect dots or looks back and thinks, maybe that was the case back then, you know? I don't know. Let me know. I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all, and God bless.